Yo, 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 what's up? I've actually wanted to do that for quite some time.
You know what? Don't do that while I'm here. Don't do that. I'm like, get out of the 80s. What was that, 80s, 90s?
I'm thinking of Yo MTV Raps. You remember when that came out? We're telling our age, huh? Okay, let's not talk about that. What's up, everybody? This is Shameca Tankerson, and I am on part 3 of the Believe series. I'm hanging with my super powerhouse client, Beverly. Say what's up, Bev. Tell everybody hello.
I'm not saying what's up. I'm not saying yo. I'm going to say hey.
Yo, what's up? So, as you guys are coming in, just say hey. Let us know that you're there. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, always know I always come back, greet you, say what's up. I say what's up because that's just how I roll. So we're going to hear a little bit about Beverly's story. Here's what I want to tell you. I've opened enrollment for a program called Play Big. We actually start January 25th. There are 10 total spaces available. 4 of them have already been claimed. So if you've been thinking about it, you've been watching me, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to work with her. Like, this is an opportunity for you to get the ball rolling for the end of the year. You've still got time to hit those goals you set the beginning of the year, but there's probably some small tweaks you need to make in how you're showing up in your business, as far as like your messaging and how you have sales conversations, how you navigate that conversation with people. And so I've opened enrollment for that. If, as we're talking, and you're hearing like, you know what, I need this in my life. I need some Shameca. I need a community with people like Bev in it to surround me so I can make this thing happen. I'm ready to scale to 20K, 10K cash months, not 10K in sales, not 10K in revenue booked, but cash in the bank months. Then what you want to do is you want to message me or comment in the post, Shameca, I'm ready to play big. When you message me, here's what will happen. I will just shoot you a message back. We'll initiate a conversation. We'll decide if we need to take it any further, jump on a phone call. I'll answer any questions that you have about the program, and I'll give you all the details that you need. I'm really crystal clear on who this program is for, and what I'm really looking to do during that conversation is to see if you're at a space in your business where we can actually accelerate your income and make an impact very quickly for you. If I cannot, I will let you know. If I can and you're a good fit, then I'll invite you into the program or we'll schedule an interview. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and let you know that. And so we're just going to jump into this. I'm hoping the reason why I started the Believe series off with these interviews or candid chats and conversations with my clients is because I truly, truly hope that you find inspiration in the stories that they're sharing, or you find yourself. Like, sometimes we think we are the only ones who are stuck in a place and we think that we're never going to get out of it. I know I was that way. When I was stuck in my business, one of the things I thought is nobody else is dealing with what I'm dealing with. No one else has people showing up to their calls telling them, they can't afford it. They need to talk to their husband. Everybody else looks like they're getting sales. But me, I'm stuck. Nobody else is investing in program after program and not getting the results they thought they were going to get. It's just me. And so I need to figure out what's wrong with me. And what I want to encourage you is that there's nothing wrong with you. You're ultra powerful. And I'm hoping that these stories and these case studies are inspiring you and letting you know you're not alone. You're not the only one going through something, and that there is a way out. You just have to choose and decide. So that's why I wanted to lead with this. Next week, I'll be jumping in and I'll be teaching you guys some of my superhero tricks for getting more sales in your business, all around this, like believing that you can have it, simplifying your business. I don't care what the goal is. It could be a 6-figure month. It could be a 6-figure sale. It could be 6 figures this year. It doesn't matter what the goal is. The first point is you have to sell yourself that it's available to you, and then make sure you have the capacity to receive. And so I'm hoping that these stories have been encouraging you. Hello, Jenny. Thanks for joining us. And if you have questions or comments that come up, like, play along with us, like comment and ask your questions. I'll be putting some of them up on the screen. We'll be answering questions and trying to engage with you as much as possible. That's enough of me just like chatting along the way. Actually, I forgot to introduce myself, so let me do that. So I am Shameca Tankerson. I'm the creator of the Authority Selling Method. I'm also best-selling author of the book, The Power of Permission, How to Set Fire to Your Fears and Sell More. That book is available on Amazon.com right now. If you don't know me and this is your first interaction with me, that's a great place for you to start. The power of permission, how to set fire to your fears and sell more. All right, Bev, it's me and you. You ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Great. So why don't you just say hello to everybody? Tell them who you are. Tell them how you're serving and showing up in the world, and we'll start there.
Okay, so I am Beverly Walthour, and I'm a business strategist for Christian female coaches and consultants. So what I do, I help my clients gain clarity in 4 areas. And as they get this clarity, then it does allow them to create consistent clients and consistent income in their businesses. So that's what I do.
Awesome. I love your little giggle. You do that all the time.
Now I'm going to do it. I'm not doing it anymore.
Here's what's super powerful. Like, you are taking the world by storm right now. I'm loving all of the things that are showing up for you. And what I'm noticing is the more you say yes, the more opportunities come your way. And some of them are scary. And then you're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? You're like, I'm going to say yes. And then another opportunity comes. So I want you to talk about 2 things. One, I want you to talk about this journey that you've been on in your business. Some of the things that maybe had you stuck, some of the things that maybe had you not saying yes in the beginning, and then just kind of take us into where you are now and what's showing up for you in your business.
Okay. So my journey started 2 years ago in this online space as a business strategist. I started my actual first business back in 2007 though. And for me, my initial, inauguration into working in the online space, I was in a group program, and it gave me the foundation that I needed. Like, it was really good. But the issue with that was I was one of hundreds of people in the program. And so I kind of got lost. So when I had a question, I wasn't able to go to that coach and ask the question. It was like, hey, put your question in the Facebook group. I'm like, wait a minute. How are you going to see this question in the sea of all these other questions? Mm-hmm. And so with that, because I wasn't able to get my questions answered the way that I needed to, like, I was trying to figure things out on my own. And what that ended up doing, it was like the blind leading the blind. I'm like, okay, well, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I did it. And when it didn't work, I ended up buying more stuff to kind of compensate for what it was that I needed, versus being able to go straight to the source and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I want to do. And it's not working out that way. So I ended up kind of like piling stuff on top of what I was doing, which of course gave me conflicting views on stuff. I'm like, okay, do I follow what this person said, or do I follow what this person said? Like, I don't know what to do. And so it was kind of like I didn't have the progress the way that I needed. And then also when I initially started, I was also working full-time as well. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, like, I kind of used that as a crutch, because it was like, okay, if I don't hit my income goal, it's cool in my business, because I knew I was going to be able to have the paycheck that was coming in to kind of compensate for that. And I think that allowed me to kind of coast for a while in my business and not really, get the sales the way that I needed to. And then I ended up having
3 things. 1, yes. I want to talk about this coasting thing. 2, I want to talk about the investing in the larger programs and not having the access that you needed. But the first thing I want to address before we touch those 2 things is I got someone saying that you're echoing. I just want to check with everybody that's here. Can you hear Bev clearly? Because sometimes it's our computers that give us the feedback and we don't recognize that. So I just want to make sure that the listening experience is great for everyone. So if you can hear Beverly clear, I was going to say Beverly clearly, but that is actually an author, and it's messing with my head. So I can't say that. But if you can hear Bev and there is no echo, can you just type yes in the comments for us so that we can make sure we don't need to troubleshoot that? Okay. All right. So we're good, because I don't hear an echo either. So we're clear. All right. Okay. So let's go back to a couple of things. Can we do that?
Yes.
Before we go on to your journey, because I think this issue hits a lot of people in business that are wondering what they should invest in. Like, should I invest in this coach or this program, or how often should I do it? And what kind of program do I need to invest in? And that is, if we go with ego sometimes, and we go with the cool kids. So if everybody's investing in, I'm not going to name any names, so-and-so's program, and it's the hip thing to do. But then you get in so-and-so's program and there's 300 of you. or 50 or 30. And while the content is great, you don't have the one-on-one that you need or the opportunity to get your questions answered because they can only talk to so many people at a time, even if they do offer a Q&A, right? And so that kind of kept you stuck. So did you invest in quite a few programs like that off the bat?
Yes, off the bat I did, because like I said, for me to try to get the solution to the question that I had, I felt like I had to search something else out because I couldn't get it from the initial source. So yeah, I did invest $1 or two or many.
$1 or two. Okay. So I was going to talk about the other thing, but since you brought that up, I want to talk about this.
Uh-huh.
Do you mind sharing the dollar amount that you invested trying to get the answer?
I don't. I actually shared it with my community yesterday. I have it written down. Like I have it as like a reminder for myself. But in 2017, $56,499.51. And yeah, it was a lot of me chasing a solution, I think that shiny object syndrome, where it wasn't necessarily what I needed in my business at that moment. Like it really and truly should have been me, generating revenue as quickly as possible. Instead, I was trying to figure out, how to be on this social media platform, how to do this, how to do that. And it was too much for where I was at that point in my business.
So you were investing in tactics, searching for something, searching for the answer.
Yes.
So here's what I want to share. And Bev, I want you to share your insights with it. Tessa said, right? It's just content. You're learning more and more and more and more and more. So I think a lot of people are in this space right now because not only have I heard, but in talking with my colleagues in my community, in my spaces, my sisters in my mastermind, a lot of people are having conversations with folks. And what they're saying is, I've invested so much money to this point. The most common objection at this point is not that I don't have the money, is that I've invested so much money. I'm just going to try to figure out what I'm doing with what I have. And so there's two things I want us to look at. The first thing, Bev, I want you to share what you were really searching for. And here's why I want you to share it, because I recognize that my clients are total badasses at what they do. What you're planning to do your business with is a gifting. It's a skill set that you've invested years and years and years of learning. Most of you, if not all of you, have multiple degrees, if not higher education and degrees, certifications in these things, but you come into this space and somehow it feels like once you step online into this internet marketing and coaching and consulting space, you feel like it strips you of all of that and you're starting from ground zero. And so I want you to just share your journey with this $56,000 you invested last year.
Yeah. So for me, it was just like you said, like I had the experience. Once again, I've been an entrepreneur since 2007. I have 3 college degrees. Even when I was an employee, people were always coming to me for the answers, because they knew if I didn't know the answer, I was going to get the answer. And so even when I transitioned into the online space, it was like I needed validation for what I already knew. It was like, okay, before I respond or before I do this, let me just double check, triple check, quadruple check, just to make sure that I'm right. And it was always the right. It was what I knew was what I knew, and it was correct. So for me, it was like this validation that I felt like I needed, that I already had. Like I already knew this stuff, but I felt like, okay, let me just do one more course. Let me do one more certification. Let me just do one more, before I really jump out there boldly and really show what it is that I can do and the results I help my clients get. So that was the biggest piece for me. It was all about validating something that I already knew about myself.
It's funny because I recognize that about my ideal clients, that they're highly educated, they have lots of experience, and they're total badass at what they do. Like, your stuff. And so I also recognize that you're looking for that validation, which is why I stripped my programs of modules. There's content that you can go grab, but it's not like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, learn all this stuff. It's like, no, boo, you've invested all this money, $56,000. You already know how to do all this stuff. Let's put it to work. Let's do the scary stuff, right? Let's do the stuff that has you not getting sales because it's not the learning mode. It's not you seeking the validation. It's not you waiting on somebody to deem you the expert or the authority that's worthy of charging a certain amount, that's worthy of asking for the business, that's worthy of stepping out in the space saying that you are an authority and an expert at what you do. Let's just get there. Let's skip all of that and get straight to the nitty gritty.
Yes. And for me, it was also like busy. I could at least say I was busy, but I wasn't doing, like, if I was busy, okay, let me go open this module up one more time and make sure. So it gave me something to do. I was doing stuff, but once again, it wasn't income generating activities that I was doing. So I was like, okay, so what's the point of this if I'm not actually generating the consistent clients that I needed to sustain my business?
All right. So you're in this perpetual state of learning and you've already invested tens of thousands of dollars. And then this chick shows up on the scene. Why did you take the jump and invest anyway?
Because by the time I got to you, I had gotten to the point in my business where I really had to have an open and honest conversation with Bev. Like, it wasn't, I wasn't going out and asking anyone else any other questions. I had to sit with myself and say, Bev, at this stage in your business, what do you need right now? And I'm such a firm believer. Once again, I work with Christians. I'm a Christian. And so I am such a firm believer that when you sit and you ask God for what it is that you need, he's going to bring it to you. And so at that moment, while I'm sitting and asking myself, what is it that I need? Then there was this chick with this purple hair that showed up, across my time. Like, we were in a group together. And so, you posted something. I'm like, let me check her out. Let me see what she's about. And then once I did that, I'm like, okay, God, I asked for it. And then all of a sudden this person pops up. And so for me, I am such a firm believer in being rewarded for your action. So I think it was like, I ended up in your group. I did, what was that, Supernova Sale? Like, you posted to someone, you weren't even talking to me. And that was the funny part. You weren't even talking to me, but I jumped out in the conversation. I'm like, what you talking? What's this? Okay, where's the link for this? And so I bought it. And for me, it wasn't, and this is my biggest thing. Like, yes, I went and I watched some of your videos, but it didn't take me 6 months. Like, because I was at a point where I was like, I needed something to change now. And so it was a matter of watching a couple of your videos, jumping into Supernova Sales School. I'm like, okay, she does know what she's talking about. And then ended up hopping on a call with you when you put out the call for Play Big. And so that's kind of, it was because I was at a point where I needed something different. And, I was tired of the excuses, whatever reason for me not getting clients consistently, I can continue to look externally and blame everyone else. But to me, that's just an excuse. And so I was tired of the excuses and playing small. And so I know that I'm here for a bigger purpose. And in order for me to fulfill that purpose, I had to show up differently.
I love that. In order for you to fulfill the purpose, you had to show up differently. See, a lot of times we think, so I want to look at this perpetual investing in things. Every time you invested in something new, it gave you the illusion that you were doing something different, but it was the same activity you had done before. And that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You had invested in courses that didn't give you the access that you needed to ask questions. And it was a new thing and a new thing and a new thing and a new thing. And the step that you took that I want everyone else to get, and this is what I typed on the screen here, what do you need to get results? How do you learn best? And how do you create your results best? What do you need? Let's not invest in programs based on the cool kids and everybody else is doing it. Let's not invest in programs based on the branding because it looks amazing. Let's not invest in programs because it's just in front of your face. Take a step back and go, do I really need this thing to get me to the real result that I want? And does it contain all the support that I need in order to ensure that I would be successful? I am a verbal processor. If I can't talk to you, if I can't talk it out, I'm going to be stuck in my own head. If you are like me and you are a verbal processor, it is likely that a course with just modules and information is not going to get you where you need to go because you need to talk it out. So know yourself and know what you need. So Bev, what were some of the things that you realized when you had that conversation with yourself that you needed?
One of the biggest things I needed was access. Because once again, with all of the programs that I had before, I did not have access to the coach to be able to ask those questions because I know how I want. And so for me, I needed to be able to raise my hand and say, hey, wait a minute, I have a question. And then know that it wasn't going to take 3 or 4 days before I got a response back. And so for me, that was the biggest piece at that point. I needed to have access. I needed to be able to ask the questions and know that I would be able to get those questions answered. That was the first thing I needed. Also, at that point in my life and in my business, I also needed support of other women that were also on the journey to where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, as an entrepreneur, like, we can fall into that trap of leaning on people who aren't even entrepreneurs. Like, you don't even know. Stop. Why would I take advice from you when you never even had your own business before? And so for me, it was very important for me to surround myself with other powerful women that are in business. So those are the two.
You're like, I have this program, it's $10,000, and they're like, what? 10,000? Who? And then you start to get crazy, but you're asking the wrong people. You're asking people who aren't trying to go where you're trying to go and who don't get what you're trying to do.
Exactly. So yeah.
Cool. So I want to talk about, so write that down, guys. And here's an assignment that I want to give you. What do you need? You need to know that before you invest in one other thing. My mom and my grandma would say, don't you invest in another thing. You need to know what you need, the support structure that works well for you. You don't have to settle. You don't have to choose a program because you're like, oh, well, this is what's offered, so I'll take that. Or this person is supposed to be the best of the best or whatever, or they have the biggest following or the whatever. Sometimes there's diamonds in the rough. I'm like, look at Bev. She's completely, like I said, a total badass at what she does. I'm gonna keep saying that over and over again. It's probably making her super uncomfortable, but it's okay. At what she does, and most people aren't even aware that she exists yet, right? You need to make sure that when you do invest with people, it's because it aligns with what you know that you need in order to succeed.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. It's all about that alignment, period. Yep.
So let's talk about some of these breakthroughs. So tell me about, like, your biggest breakthrough or the breakthrough moment for you. Especially when it comes to, like, mindset and how you're showing up and all of that stuff.
I think the biggest mindset shift, the break, you know, whichever word you want to say, was when I decided that I could no longer play small. That was the biggest shift for me, because it was the fact that, you know, going back to what I said, I know that there's a bigger purpose for me here on earth. And in order for me to fulfill that, I can't just keep it contained to, okay, I know what I do and I know I'm good at what I'm doing and it's good, you know, if I know what I mean, the Lord knows. But it had to be more than that. Like, I was designed for a bigger purpose and a bigger impact. And so for me, that was the shift that I needed. And I knew in order for me to have the impact that I desired, like, I couldn't do it by myself. And so that's the biggest piece, because once again, if I could have done it by myself, I would have done it before now. And I didn't. And so I knew for me that in order for me to do it, like I said, I had to align myself with someone that knew what she was doing and knew how to take me to where I wanted to be. And so that to me was the biggest shift. Like, once I decided, like, you know, I couldn't continue to do what I was doing. And so for me, that was one of the biggest pieces.
What does playing small look like? Because I know I post about playing small a lot. The program is called Play Big, right? And I think it means something different for everyone. And there are some people that may not understand what that means. So how did playing small show up for you in your life?
So for me, playing small, it manifested in a couple of different ways. So like I said, for one, it was, even when it came to me putting content out, you know, it was, okay, I'll post, and, you know, I'll post about my cat. I'll post about my niece and nephew. You know, oh yeah, by the way, if you want to hop on a call with me, do so. And then I'll post about, okay, I need another car. Okay, you know, it was me saying that I did post about my business, like I did. If you scroll out of the 10 posts, you're going to see one. So I did it. And in my mind saying, okay, well, if people needed it, and I've said this to you more than one time, you know, if people need my services, it probably had a little head rolling like this too. If they needed my services, they just click on the link. I don't understand what, so that was a part of it too, like really and truly knowing that, you know, sometimes people don't even recognize where they are in a situation. And so being able to reach out to them and say, hey, I have this solution for you, and this is what you can do to get to where you need to be. So being more proactive in the sense of actually reaching out and tapping people, literally sometimes tapping them to let them know that, hey, you do not have to continue to struggle in these areas. This is what I can do to support you.
And sometimes that's scary. That's probably one of the scariest things you can do, because you're like, people are going to think I don't have any clients. People are going to think I'm money hungry. People are going to think I just want their business. I'm like, well, you do, right? You look at them and you can see that you can help them, but you're just going to let them drown and not throw them a lifeline. There's a couple of things that I see people getting stuck on. And one you mentioned is the illusion that you're doing all you can to grow your business because it feels like it, right? You're sitting at your desk all day, you're doing stuff, you're working on the plan, you're creating an entire program with 12,000 modules and all the pieces to it and the graphics for it and all that stuff. And your website on social media. Yes.
My website is cute. I know how to make something in Canva. Yes. I can create a graphic. Yeah. Oh, I was busy. I was busy.
So you're doing all of that stuff, and then you post one time and say, I have this program. Reach out for a call. Then 7 days passes by, and you're like, oh, let me do it one more time. And it's like that consistently. Because I tell you guys all the time, I'm like, go scroll through your news feed. It's been a month since you asked anybody for business. You're like, I felt like I just did it yesterday. And so it goes back to like my powers of permission. Like the last one is hiding in plain sight, right? Permission to stop hiding in plain sight. What were you about to say?
And I think that's part of having that accountability piece too. Because once again, you can say this is what I'm doing, but to have another set of eyes on it to call you out on your mess is powerful. And I know sometimes I'm going to go. I don't need, this is my business. I'm going to do this. And we get all that neck rolling stuff going, all of that stuff, we get defensive because we deep down, we know we're not doing what we need to do. But we can argue it down and say that we are. But when you literally say, scroll through your news feed, and I scroll through it, I'm like, okay, well, but remember that was the week I was sick. So, like it's so easy.
That's not what.
So having that accountability for me was very powerful as well to call me out on my stuff.
So that illusion, the other thing is pretending like you don't want what you want. Pretending like you don't want to have a multiple six-figure business or $1 million business. Like, oh no, I'm just humbly okay to just serve people. I'm like, can you pay your light bill with that service? That's the reality. It's okay to have desires. It's okay to have ambition and own it and then act accordingly. Understand that that's available to you as well, not just for the others. Right. And then the last thing is thinking you could do it all by yourself. Like you said, I'm grown. I know this. Or thinking like you look at people and you hear them talking. Yeah, it's stuff that but here's the thing. If you don't see the fruit of it in your business, you don't know it yet. So that illusion that you got this, it. Oh, I know what she knows. I teach that too. I teach that to my clients. There's a whole lot of things my coach teaches that I teach to my clients, but she's running a multi-million-dollar business. I'm running a multi-six-figure business. There's a big gap. There's a chasm in there. So I'm never going to sit in her presence talking about, well, I teach this too. She don't really know nothing.
I think a part of that, though, just like you said in the question that you asked me earlier, is really and truly a shift. And you shifting out of it being about you in that sense of, like you said, if you knew it, though, your business would be exactly where you need it to be. Is your business where you want it to be? No? Well, okay, then. That means that there are things that you need to put into place to get you to where you desire it to be.
Biggest lesson of all, like if you can take any lesson from your time in Play Big, and you're actually now in Next Level Authority, but in your time in Play Big and even in Next Level Authority, what's your biggest lesson that you could share?
My biggest lesson has been, and you kind of alluded to this at the very beginning, has been when you stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone, when you start saying yes to yourself. So me starting to say yes to myself started back right around the time that I met you. Because once again, I've said that I was praying about something. And so when you stepped onto the scene, I'm like, okay, one more investment. God, are you sure? You sure? Because, Shameca, them investments, she wasn't $5.50. I'm like, Lord, are you sure? And so being able to say yes to that, then it allowed me to continue to say yes to other things. And then saying yes to those other things, which was me saying yes to myself, then exploded and expanded my business in ways that 6 months ago, I never imagined that I was going to be in the space that I'm in. And it's all because I decided to start saying yes to myself. And when I said yes to myself, once again, it was to what I needed, not what this person over here said that I needed, or what, it wasn't that. It was me really and truly looking at myself and saying yes to the things that I really needed for where my business was at that time.
That's awesome. I love that you share that. So I want to wrap this up because I don't want to keep us here too long. I'm going to give you, let's say you have 30 seconds or 60 seconds. There's somebody who's on the same path that Bev was on back when we connected with each other. The same frustrations, the same, like, this got to work. You on your knees praying. I mean, like, when you're on your knees praying, that's it, right? That's wits ends. That's all right, Lord, you going to show up and do something or not?
I know. I'm looking like, oh, all right,
like,
Lord. Thank you. Like, said, get them on the main line. Tell them what you want, Lord. This is what I want. Yeah.
So I want you to talk to her right now. What words what would you have to say to her? What words of encouragement, what words of wisdom would you give to her?
The biggest piece is, if this desire has been placed in your heart for you to do, then do it. And so when I say do it, that means you have to strip yourself of the excuses and really and truly stand in who it is that you've been created to be. And then realize and recognize that there are people out there that need what you have. They desire that solution that you have. And it's actually very selfish not to let them know that, hey, you don't have to continue with, whether or not it's an issue with eating or weight or whatever it is. Like, you don't have to continue to walk in your mess. But in order for them to know that there is a solution out there, that means that you have to stand and walk in your power and really and truly stand in that confidence of who you are. And realize and recognize that, once again, that there are people out there that need you and desire what it is that you have. And once again, you're doing them a huge disservice if you don't let them know that there is actually a solution for them out there. Period.
Thank you. That was beautiful. You're amazing. Bev has some amazing opportunities coming up for her. We can't talk about all of them, but best believe when we can talk about all of them, we're going to shout it from the rooftops and let the world know. I will say some of them have to do with like some television stuff, some radio broadcasting stuff. So as soon as we can share it with the world, we're going to.
We will. Once I pick myself off the floor first, and then
I'm having so much fun watching you just elevate and say yes over and over and over again, in spite of the fear. That's, I love that. Like, fear can slap you right in the face, but you're like, okay.
Yeah, and you do it. You slap me in the face too, because when I say, well, Shameca, I didn't do this, or I didn't say that. Why? You just asked that one question. Why? I don't know. I'm going back right now, responding to the email. Give me a second. So yeah.
Basically, yeah. We're not going to sleep on our destiny. We're not going to do that at all. So yeah. I want to give you guys an opportunity to join us inside of our Courage Container, to join us inside of our community. So I put the link up there to apply for Play Big. I haven't done this on all of the videos. I just decided to do this one on this one right now. Listen, like I said, I've stripped Play Big of all of the modules and stuff. Yeah, I teach you sales stuff. Like, I've got sales. It's in my soul. But you also have access to learning like how to sell high ticket services. So like, where you don't need a sales call, you can do it in Messenger, where you can get to the point navigating that conversation where it's a yes, not just a yes, it's a heck yes. And yes, by the way, I'm going to pay you in full, even if it's $10,000, $12,000, $18,000, $15,000. I want you to know deep in your bones that the work that you do is valuable, and understand that value so much so that you're able to navigate these conversations with people powerfully. I believe sales is just a powerful place, because it's the moment of decision. It's the place of decision for someone who's changing their life. It happens at the moment of belief. When they believe they can have what you say that you are able to gift them through the work with you, that's when they will say yes. When that moment doesn't happen, you get no's, you get excuses. And so what changes inside of Play Big is you get a deep knowing of how you affect your clients' results. You have magic, you have genius, you have giftings, you have a calling. And typically that thing is what people pay you the most money for. That's why they want to be in your presence. That's why they will invest in your programs, but you're too busy trying to sell the stuff, all the things, all the hours, all the sessions, all the bonuses and all of those things. And that's not really what they care about. And so I teach you how to package you in a way that you can communicate how powerfully you can get somebody from where they are to where they want to be, just like that. So that's what Play Big is all about. It's 90 days. These 90 days can change the trajectory of your business. These 90 days set the foundation for those 10K sales, those multiple six-figure years that you want to have, the next level of your business. The question is, will you decide, despite your own insecurity, despite your own fear, despite your own, I've invested $56,000 like Bev did when she was coming into Play Big, despite all of that, will you say yes to yourself one final time? And then the most amazing thing, yes, you get me, and yes, I'm all in your business and all in, like Bev was talking about, and like Tessa and Lizette talked about on the videos before this, the interviews before this. I'm there with you, making sure, like, I've already done this. I've already been in my own head about what can go wrong in my business and whether I'm worth that, or if I'm enough, or who the heck do you think you are? So I know what comes up before it even begins to happen for you. And I'm like, all right, love, come on, let's step around this little roadblock and keep on going. I'm there championing you. I'm there pushing you to get the results you said you wanted for yourself. It's no more rolling over that revenue goal that you desire, the business that you desire to build, that you can see in your heart and in your mind that it's yours. You can see it, but you can't seem to get there. It's elusive to you. No more doing that. No more January 31st or December 31st saying, one more time, I'm going to do this 6 figures or whatever it is you keep saying every year, year after year after year, month after month after month. No more of that. Let's get you moving into the right direction. Then to culminate the whole thing, you come to California, hang out with me. Preferably you fly first class, because I want you to experience all the things, because you're worthy of it. Right? Your ability to receive, expanding your capacity to receive starts with you loving on yourself, treating yourself well, telling yourself you're worthy of good experiences. That's where it starts. So you come hang out with me, and then I'm going to teach you how to sell like nobody's business. We're going to integrate that stuff into you over the 3 days that we spend. And I'm going to also treat you to some experiences that you're going to get to treat yourself. So that's what Play Big is all about. It's your time to step up and play a bigger game. Your time to step up and play a bigger game, to show up better and bigger. When I think about the name Play Big, what I remember is when I used to play basketball, I was a post player, down at the bottom, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the big guys, right? What they would always say is play big. And what that meant is occupy so much space down there that anybody would be afraid to bring the ball into your presence, right? I want you to play bigger. Stop shrinking for the comfort of other people. Stop diminishing your power and your voice because you think someone is going to judge you. Show up powerfully, take up more space, and claim what is duly yours. That's what Play Big is about. So you can see it there, bit.ly/apply with Shameca. Bev,
yes,
it's always fun hanging out with you. Thank you so much for, let me move this. I don't even know if I can move it. I don't know what I'm doing. We're just going to let it roll.
You and tech are here. You're not the most.
Thanks for hanging out with me today and sharing your story. Like, you're opening the door to what's been happening behind the scenes with you on your growth journey. And I know that's not always an easy thing to decide to do, right? Because you're like, well, my clients could be watching, and there's all kinds of things we have going on in our head. It takes a badass power player to step forward and say, listen, this is the journey that I've been on, and I'm here now, but I haven't always been here.
Mm-hmm.
Only a power player can do that. So I appreciate you for letting us in behind the scenes and sharing that with everybody. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me on, Shameca. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week when we finish the rest of this Believe series off. We're going to come back on Tuesday, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to start welcoming in, how to prepare yourself to become that woman who can get $10,000 sales paid in full, not stretched out over 12 months, not $500 a month payments for 24 months, none of that stuff. Cash payments in full. It starts with you. Who do you need to become? This journey, this Believe series is all about you becoming her. All right, loves, I'll talk to you later. Bye.